Banning fish in toilet tanks, prohibiting adding lemons to lemonade, even forbidding joking with friends. Perhaps only in the Czech Republic do such absurd regulations exist. The Czech Republic is renowned for its historical beauty, unique architecture, but one thing equally peculiar in this place is its prohibitions and strange regulations. In today's video, let's explore 15 prohibitions and oddities in the Czech Republic. Make sure you're prepared to be surprised by the interesting things about to be revealed. If everything's ready, let's dive right in. Number 15. Banning fish in toilet tanks. If you happen to find a fish in a public restroom in the Czech Republic, don't be surprised. The fish is actually placed there to be raised. Only in the Czech Republic do people come up with the idea of raising fish in toilet tanks to the extent that the government has had to impose a ban. The law prohibiting fish breeding in toilet tanks in the Czech Republic is one of the strange and unique regulations of this country. Although it may seem like a rather whimsical rule, behind it lies a reasonable concern for hygiene and safety. This law is established to prevent unsanitary behavior that could pose health risks. Breeding fish in toilet tanks leads to water pollution, causing unpleasant odors and creating an unhealthy environment. Moreover, breeding fish in toilet tanks also raises issues related to personal hygiene in the environment, especially if not handled properly. Therefore, banning fish breeding in toilet tanks is seen as a preventive measure to maintain public hygiene and health. Despite the government's ban, many Czech citizens still resort to this method of fish breeding. I wonder if it's because they can't afford to buy a fish tank or other water-containing utensils. Number 14. Stinginess. If you're still wondering why they would raise fish in toilet tanks, I may have found the answer. It could be because they genuinely don't want to waste money buying a fish tank. Stinginess is part of the culture and lifestyle of some Czech people. Frugality, patience with money, or more precisely, stinginess, is a common trait often observed in Czech residents. Even an employee of a large company with an above-average salary would prefer to buy groceries at a cheaper supermarket rather than spend money on an expensive Italian meal. What's the point? After all, pasta is pasta. Why should I pay too much for it? This is the most common reaction you might encounter. Czech people can demonstrate their patience with money by saving in every aspect of daily life, from rational consumption to diligently saving for the future. This can be seen in habits such as using public transportation instead of driving, shopping at discount stores, or even using water from toilet tanks to raise fish or water plants to save water. Interestingly, they desire to save, but not for electronic devices, sports equipment or clothing. In this case, Czech people spend quite a lot and enthusiastically when they see the value in it. Number 13. Prohibiting posting pictures of leaders. You might be accustomed to freedom of speech in your country, but in the Czech Republic, you might end up in jail just for expressing your opinion. In the Czech Republic, speaking ill, indiscriminately posting pictures, or criticizing the policies of leaders can be considered a violation of the law, especially if these actions are deemed to damage their honor or reputation. Although legally, the Czech Republic is a democratic country with guaranteed freedom of speech and press, this freedom is only relative. Criticism or expressing opinions about the policies and decisions of leaders is an essential part of a democratic society. However, a Czech citizen would have to think very carefully before doing so. Most opinions are usually rejected, and the person expressing them is considered to be opposing the government. In some cases, criticizing or indiscriminately posting pictures of leaders is considered a violation of laws against defamation or damaging honor. This leads to legal consequences such as prosecution, fines, or even imprisonment. Therefore, when you want to express opinions on political and social issues in the Czech Republic, you should ensure that the information or opinions you present are accurate and that you yourself will be protected. Number 12. No joking allowed. If you visit the Czech Republic, you'll notice that the atmosphere here is quite gloomy. Czechs know how to joke, but you'll hardly ever hear sarcastic remarks. Everyone seems very busy, tense and melancholic because of something. Czechs even appear annoyed at the sight of others laughing and joking. They consider people laughing and joking in the streets or in shops to be impolite and disruptive to others. If you talk to Czechs, you may not even have the chance to make sarcastic remarks. Czechs like to discuss history and respect for their country's past, ingrained since childhood, and student organizations and schools encourage active participation in political and social activities. When discussing these matters, they are extremely serious and proud. So never show sarcasm when they talk about these things. Number 11. Highest esteem for women's rights in the world. I think that after knowing this fact, many women will wish they were born in the Czech Republic because it's one of the countries with the highest esteem for women's rights in the world. Women in the Czech Republic participate in politics at all levels, from local to national. Although the proportion of women in government and parliament is still lower than men, there has been significant growth in the number of women holding political leadership positions. The relationships with Czechs, and even marriage, don't mean that men automatically take full financial responsibility for women and their children. The attitude of men work, while I just have to be beautiful, is not favored by Czechs and will not be understood. Czechs respect and support independence in partners desiring to build their careers and achieve their own goals. It's not unusual for fathers to take paternity leave while the mother returns to work and supports the family. Interestingly, children here can completely take their mother's surname if they wish. Czech law stipulates that children can take their mother's surname, and it's not mandatory to take the father's surname. Number 10. Name Day. Our names are usually given beforehand or on the day we are born, but in the Czech Republic you have to wait for a specific day to have your name. They call it Name Day. Basically, in the Czech Republic, a person's name day falls on the day corresponding to their name on the calendar. On this day, people usually bring flowers and some gifts for the person, like a box of chocolates, books, some cosmetics, pictures or toys for children. In Czech culture, Name Day is an important occasion to celebrate and discipline family members, friends and relatives. On Name Day, people often organize celebratory parties, family gatherings and friends get-togethers. Traditional Czech dishes and specialties are usually prepared, and the party cannot be without sweets and beer. The Czech Republic is not the only country that celebrates name days. In addition, people in France, Finland, Bulgaria or Latvia also honor these specific days. If you want to know what your name day is, if you have a Czech name or an international name like Daniel, Valerie, or something like Thomas or Paul, which is Thomas and Pavel in the Czech Republic, you can search online for a Czech calendar. Number 9. Prohibition on buying alcohol in supermarkets. If you want to go to the supermarket and buy a bottle of wine as a gift or for a party in the Czech Republic, it's actually a foolish act in the eyes of the people here. Because simply in the Czech Republic, not even light wine is sold in supermarkets. Someone carrying a newly bought bottle of wine on the street will receive many curious glances. In the Czech Republic, they prefer beer over wine, although beer here has a relatively high alcohol content. While drinking beer is considered normal, drinking wine is seen as somewhat lagging. The Czech government believes that alcohol is much more harmful than beer, and the sale and consumption of alcohol should be restricted as much as possible. They argue that prohibiting the sale of alcohol in supermarkets helps reduce the convenience of buying alcohol. When consumers have to go to liquor stores or specialty retail outlets to buy alcohol, they may think more carefully before purchasing and consuming alcohol. Moreover, banning the sale of alcohol in supermarkets helps reduce the risk of alcohol purchase for children and adolescents. Children and adolescents often have easy access to alcohol when it is sold in regular retail outlets like supermarkets. Actually, this is entirely correct, but the issue is that Czechs are one of the countries with the highest beer consumption in the world, so restricting the sale of alcohol doesn't make much sense. Number 8. Beer paradise. If wine faces many restrictions, then beer is the drink that Czechs greatly adore. The Czech Republic is one of the 9 beer paradises in the world, where you can drink to your heart's content and people will even pour beer for you without asking if you want more. You should know that beer is an integral part of Czech drinking culture, and beer festivals are an essential part of social life in the Czech Republic. Beer festivals are not only an opportunity to enjoy various beers, but also a chance for the community to gather, meet friends, and have fun. There are many popular beer festivals in the Czech Republic, such as Pilsner Fest in Pilsen, Slavnosti Piva in České Budějovice, home of Budweiser beer, or Starobrno Fest in Brno. These festivals usually take place in summer or autumn, attracting thousands of attendees from all over. At beer festivals, you can enjoy traditional Czech beers like Pilsner, Budweiser, and a variety of craft beers from local breweries. In addition, there are entertainment activities such as live music, traditional games, and food stalls serving specialty dishes along with beer. Beer festivals are not just an opportunity to enjoy good beer, but also a part of Czech cultural and social life, creating a lively space for interaction among community members. Number 7. Atheism. Whether you worship gods, Buddha, or any other deities to any extent, don't talk about them in front of Czechs. They won't let anything about deities enter their ears. They are atheists and consider themselves their own gods. Although the Czech Republic has a long history with the influence of Roman Catholicism, in modern times, the loss of faith in religion has become more prevalent. According to some studies, the percentage of Czechs who consider themselves atheists or have no specific religion approaches nearly 80%, and only a small portion of the population still maintains faith in traditional religious denominations. Some Czechs may describe themselves as atheists because they don't practice or adhere to the doctrines of any particular religion. They may have a secular view of life and morality, but are not affiliated with any religious system. However, this does not mean that they lack moral values or do not respect rational values. In fact, many Czechs still have ethical principles and respectable lifestyles that they adhere to, independent of religion. Number 6. Smoking ban in public places. This is perhaps one of the most civilized and justified bans in the Czech Republic. No matter how much you crave the taste of a cigarette, never smoke it while walking down the street. The Czech Republic has implemented measures to restrict smoking in many public spaces to protect public health. These measures include banning smoking in restaurants, bars, bus stops, subway stations, and many other public places. The ban on smoking in public places not only helps protect the health of smokers, but also reduces the negative impact of secondhand smoke on those around them, especially children and non-smokers. It can also help raise awareness of the risks of smoking and encourage people to adopt a smoke-free lifestyle. With its great benefits, the Czech government does not hesitate to impose heavy fines on those who intentionally violate the ban. Especially if you are a foreigner, you may face heavier fines than the normal penalty for locals for not respecting local regulations. Number 5. No lemon in lemonade. Drinking lemonade in the Czech Republic is perhaps one of the most interesting experiences in your life. There are no juicy lemon wedges and familiar sweet and sour taste you imagine in a glass of lemonade. It's a completely different flavor that you can hardly imagine. You will find lemonade on most Czech menus, and they are a great non-alcoholic beverage option. In fact, many restaurants change their lemonade varieties daily. Usually, lemonade in the Czech Republic doesn't have lemon. They are just carbonated water with added fruit syrup. Unless the menu clearly states that it contains lemon, it won't have lemon. So if you ask the server if they have any lemonades today and they say raspberry, passion fruit and lime, then only the lemon type actually contains lemon. Additionally, Malinovka is something you often see at bars. It's a sweet raspberry soda, technically lemonade by Czech standards, usually available on tap. Number 4. No euros allowed. If you think you can pay for your lemonade in euros, then that's actually a big mistake. The Czech Republic does not use the euro, instead they use the Czech crown, koruna. In recent years, the exchange rate has fluctuated around 21 to 24 crowns per US dollar. Mental calculations aren't the easiest thing, so I advise you to download a currency converter app and open it when you want to check exchange rates. In fact, you can't use US dollars here either. You might think this doesn't need to be said, but I've seen enough Americans try to pay with USD all over Europe. You should use a US credit card for most of your shopping transactions in Europe. If they ask you which currency to charge, CZK or USD, always choose CZK. You'll get a better rate if they do the conversion. Number 3. Eye contact required. Eye contact is essential when toasting in the Czech Republic. Make sure to look directly into the eyes of the person opposite you when your glasses clink. If not, according to Czechs, you'll encounter bad luck and have to endure 7 years of bad intimacy. Also, don't cross your arms when toasting, and definitely don't toast with water. That's considered bad luck. If you have a glass of water, whether it's sparkling or still, just smile and nod when everyone around cheers you. People will understand. Also, don't pour new beer into old beer. If you still have some beer in your glass, finish it before pouring it full again. As mentioned, Czechs may be atheists, but they seem very attentive in their actions and are always wary of encountering bad luck in life. Number 2. Land of castles. When you come to the Czech Republic, the first thing that will probably impress you is the number of castles in this country. You only need to walk a few kilometers and you might come across an ancient castle. If you want to explore them all, it might take you several months. The Czech Republic has a rich and diverse history of castles. These castles are often built from medieval times to the Renaissance, and they embody not only unique architectural beauty, but also vivid portraits of the country's history and culture. Foremost among them is the extensive castle complex featuring architectural styles ranging from Romanesque and Gothic to 20th century architecture. Since 1989, Prague Castle has served as the presidential residence of the Czech Republic, formerly Czechoslovakia. Through numerous constructions and renovations starting from the 9th century, Prague Castle stands as one of the largest castle complexes in the world according to the Guinness Book of Records. With a length of 570 meters and a width of 130 meters, it's also the largest ancient castle in the world. Additionally, you should also visit Hluboká nad Vltavou Castle and Lednice Castle, two architectural gems that will surely leave you in awe. Number 1. Crystal Paradise. When you come to the Czech Republic, one of the things you shouldn't miss is the crystal products in this country. The finest crystal in the world. The Czech Republic is truly famous for producing high-quality and exquisite crystal. The city of Bohemia, located in the central region of the Czech Republic, is considered the crystal heart of the world. In the Czech Republic, glass and crystal have been produced in Bohemia for over 800 years. The skills of craftsmen, combined with finesse in every action, have maximized the beautiful light refraction. The fame of Czech crystal is not only created from accumulated traditions over centuries, but also evaluated for the skills, experience and quality of craftsmen, as well as the ability to create an attractive, elegant product through various techniques. Although nowadays, with modern science and technology, crystal quality can be improved fundamentally, it still relies on long-standing manual techniques. By using glass-blowing techniques to create a rough product and then refining and decorating it with various methods, combined with the craftsmanship of artisans, it creates a product of high artistic value. As I said, don't miss the opportunity to buy these items at a bargain price when you're directly in the Czech Republic. After traveling through 15 unique laws and interesting things in the Czech Republic, the next journey will take us to the land of Russia, the largest country on the planet, a place containing countless strange and mysterious things waiting to be discovered. Say goodbye to strict regulations and hello to unique customs, extraordinary world records, and one-of-a-kind cultural experiences that are unique to Russia. Are you ready to immerse yourself in the world of unique traditions, like bathing in icy pits or learning about the interesting history surrounding how Russian men used to have to pay taxes for growing beards? Let's explore the 25 strangest things about Russia, where oddity blends with greatness, bringing you a journey of discovery full of surprises and fun. 25 strange facts about Russia. Russians are known for their love of vodka, passion for tea, setting a world record for having 67 children and peculiar customs, such as bathing in ice holes or men once being taxed for wearing a beard. Situated between the continents of Asia and Europe, Russia is home to many peculiarities. Let's explore the 25 strangest facts about the country with the largest land area on the planet. Number 25. Alaska, USA, used to belong to Russia. Surely many of you here are familiar with Alaska, but did you know that Alaska was once part of Russia? The vast and mighty Russian Empire expanded westward into what is now the United States before the British did in the 19th century. Alaska was a bustling trading center for Russia. On March 30th, 1867, Russia sold Alaska to the United States for a relatively cheap price of $7.2 million USD, equivalent to $4.74 per square kilometer. This value is equivalent to 118 million USD at today's rates. Despite the bargain price of about 2 cents per acre, the purchase of Alaska was ridiculed by Congress and the press as Seward's folly. But it was later recognized as one of the most valuable land acquisitions in US history. After acquiring Alaska, the United States benefited greatly from its gold and mineral resources. 50 years after purchasing Alaska, the amount the US earned increased 100-fold. Today, Alaska is the largest state in the United States by area and has the lowest population density. Number 24. Russians are extremely superstitious. Although they are very friendly, another interesting fact about Russia is that in general, Russians tend to be superstitious and traditional. One of the most common superstitions is giving flowers in odd numbers. Many Russians believe that even numbers of flowers are only appropriate for funerals. If you give a Russian an even number of flowers, they will refuse to accept them. In addition to not giving even numbers of flowers, Russians also believe that you should not put on clothes inside out. If you put on clothes inside out, Russians believe you will be hit when you go outside. Moreover, they have the habit of patting a dog's head with their left hand and believe that to succeed in a wish, you need to throw a coin into the boot of Peter the Great. Another superstition is choosing a house location based on ancient beliefs. They believe that the first person to enter a new house will be the first to die, so they often let a cat enter the house first. If the cat does not enter, they will demolish the house and build a new one. What do you think of the Russian superstitions? Please comment below and share your thoughts. Number 23. Fuel pipeline, 6 times the circumference of the Earth. Russia has the world's largest natural gas reserves, and to export this energy source, Russia has used pipelines that stretch 29,900 kilometers. Meanwhile, the circumference of the Earth is only 40,075 kilometers. So with this length, the pipelines could circle the planet 6 times. Number 22. Don't mess with Russian bears. Currently, there are an estimated 200,000 brown bears worldwide. The largest population is in Russia, with about 12,000 bears, while the United States has about 32,500 bears and Canada has about 21,750 bears. The number of brown bears in Russia exceeds that of any other country. According to RBTH, the Yokumchatsky Nature Reserve in southern Kamchatka, Russia, has the highest density of brown bears in the world. There are about 2,000 bears in a relatively small area. However, if you go to Russia and encounter a brown bear, do not joke with this type of bear, because they are extremely dangerous. They may look friendly, but they can attack humans at any time. Number 21. The strange appearance of the Mir mine in Russia. In a remote corner of Siberia, the Mir diamond mine has provided a large number of diamonds that contributed to the construction of the Soviet Union. The Mir mine is a naturally occurring diamond mine located in Russia. The mine is 525 meters deep and has a diameter of 1,600 meters. During peak years of production, it is estimated that the Mir mine provided over 10 million carats of diamonds annually, of which 20% were gem-quality stones. What is especially remarkable is that when looking at the images, the towns around this diamond mine inadvertently become insignificant compared to this deep pit. Mir has become the second largest hole on the Earth's surface, The mouth of the deep hole has created an enormous and terrifying suction force, pulling even helicopters into it. From space we can see this diamond mine. Number 20. Lake Kache, the world's most dangerous death lake. Do you find the image of this lake as beautiful as a painting? Please comment below and share your thoughts on this lake's image. However, despite its beauty, few people know that Russia's picturesque Lake Kache is a death lake, capable of killing anyone standing around it within 5 minutes. The lake has a deep blue color that appears serene, but it actually harbors many dangers. The reason is that Lake Kache, located in the southwestern region of Chelyabinsk, Russia, is within the area of the Mayak Production Association, one of the largest nuclear facilities with the highest levels of radioactive leakage. According to a report from the World Watch Institute based in Washington, D.C., Lake Kache is ranked as the most polluted lake on the planet. The level of radiation measured here is 4.44 times 10 to the power of 6, a level nearly equivalent to the total amount distributed over a larger area after many years following the Chernobyl disaster. Therefore, experts have warned people not to approach Lake Kache to avoid painful deaths. Along with this, local authorities have decided to seal off the lake, turning Kache into a coffin with massive concrete blocks. Foxes are popular pets in Russia. In 1959, Soviet scientists Dmitry Belyaev and Lilia Trut conducted an experiment at the Akademgorodok Research Center near Novosibirsk. Their goal was to find a method to make foxes obedient and loyal like dogs. Starting with Dr. Dmitry Belyaev, who was a pioneer of raising silver foxes as pets due to their many dog-like traits, from 1959 until now, Russian scientists have continued this trend. And the Institute of Cytology and Genetics still accepts foxes as pets. But these foxes also look quite adorable, don't they? Ice hole swimming. This tradition may seem terrifying to foreigners, but it's quite normal in Russia. On January 19th every year, Russians often hold a unique festival that not everyone is willing to participate in, which is immersing themselves in icy holes. Thousands of people dive into the cold water with the belief that it will cleanse their souls and provide them with robust health for the entire year. Meanwhile, many others engage in this tradition simply to overcome their own fears. Due to the majority of rivers and lakes freezing over, authorities actively drill holes to create large ice holes for people to dive into under the close supervision of rescue teams. Would you dare to jump into these ice holes for a swim? Leave a comment below with your thoughts. The average Russian consumes over 18 liters of alcohol each year. From tea to alcohol, does anyone here like drinking vodka? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Russians are extremely fond of drinking alcohol, especially vodka. The word vodka originates from the Russian word voda, meaning water. Whenever Russia is mentioned, vodka is often associated with it, as Russians treat vodka like water. Perhaps for this reason, 25% of the Russian population dies before the age of 55, while the percentage of deaths due to alcohol in the US is only 1%. According to research, the average Russian consumes over 18 liters of alcohol each year. Moreover, during times of economic inflation, many schools even decided to pay teachers with bottles of vodka. I must emphasize that this is an average figure, because some people don't drink as much, while others drink more than 18 liters of alcohol per year. And this figure is double the amount of alcohol that doctors consider safe for the body. Not only do Russians have a liking for vodka, but they also have a fondness for beer. What's peculiar is that before 2013, Russians didn't consider beer to be an alcoholic beverage. Each Russian consumes a significant amount of beer daily. It is estimated that over 500,000 people die annually from alcohol-related illnesses. Russia has up to 9 time zones. Russia is the largest country in the world, covering 1/8 of the Earth's land area, with a population of over 145 million people living on its vast territory. Moreover, Russia is even larger than a planet because, With a surface area of 17 million square kilometers, Russia is larger than Saturn, which is 16.6 million square kilometers in size. Known as the country with the largest land area in the world, spanning both Europe and Asia, this country has up to 9 time zones, which significantly affects economic activities here. Russia used to have 11 time zones, but since 2010, the country has decided to reduce the number of time zones to 9 for the convenience of work and communication across the nation. However, even so, Russia still holds the title for having the most time zones in the world. Number 15. Russia has the longest railway in the world. In Russia, the Trans-Siberian Railway is the longest single railway line in the world, with a total length of 9,289 kilometers. You can use the train to explore around Russia, and the Trans-Siberian Railway will help you achieve this. Every year, the railway industry in Russia serves about 1.08 billion passengers and 1.2 billion tons of cargo, which is indeed a large number, isn't it? Additionally, the railway line connects with branches in Mongolia and China. Therefore, you can travel from the capital, Moscow, in Russia to the capital, Beijing, in China. The diverse and developed railway system has helped build strong transportation infrastructure for Russia, bringing many benefits to the country. One of the great things about having a dense subway system in Russia is that it makes it easier for local residents and tourists to travel. There's a train to almost everywhere you want to go. Number 14. Men with beards were taxed. This world has a plethora of peculiar taxes. Do you know any strange taxes? Feel free to comment and let me know. Before Peter the Great seized power in the 16th century, a special tax called the beard tax existed in Russia. Anyone who decided to let their beard grow during this period was required to pay a tax. This idea arose in the mind of Peter the Great after he embarked on a journey to visit Europe and discovered that many developed countries didn't have the tradition of growing beards. To make his people look cleaner shaven, he decided to levy taxes on those who grew beards. To enforce the ban on beards, Peter the Great empowered the police to forcibly shave those who refused to pay the tax. Number 13. Cats are guardians of the museum. The largest museum in Russia, the Hermitage in St. Petersburg, employs about 70 cats as working staff. They are kept to protect the museum's artifacts from the destruction of mice. The museum has a separate press release for the cats, and 3 people play the role of caretakers. The cats live in the basement of the museum and also appear on the embankment and square in the summer. In past eras, they roamed through the museum's exhibition rooms. They are hired to protect priceless works of art from mouse infestations and are highly valued by all museum staff. Each cat even has its own personal passport with a photo and receives regular wages. Would you like to visit this museum to see the cats? Comment your thoughts below. Whether you believe it or not, there's a rather peculiar fact about these cats. One of the Hermitage cats, Achilles, seems to be able to predict the outcome of football matches. His fortune-telling ability first surfaced in 2017 during the Confederations Cup. During the FIFA World Cup 2018 held in Russia, Achilles accurately predicted the winning teams in 4 matches by choosing from 2 food bowls with the flags of the teams in front of them. Number 12. Russians are tea drinkers. Do any of you here like drinking tea? Please comment and let me know. You must come to Russia to enjoy tea. Here, Russians drink a lot of hot tea. They can drink 5 to 10 cups of tea each day. Usually people drink black tea with sugar, but nowadays many people prefer green tea or black tea without sugar. When gathering with friends, they often buy some sweets to accompany the tea. It's like a tradition, and it's wonderful in winter when you want something hot to warm you up. Vodka is an extremely popular alcoholic beverage in Russia and many countries around the world. The name of this liquor originates from the Russian word voda, which means water. As for beer, until 2013 in Russia, beer was not considered an alcoholic beverage. Russians drink twice as much alcohol as Americans. On average, each Russian drinks 6.3 cups of alcohol per week, compared to 3.3 cups for Americans. Do you think there's any country where people drink more alcohol than Russia? Share your thoughts with us. Number 11. The first human in space was Russian. That was Yuri Gagarin. He was a Soviet pilot and cosmonaut. He was credited as the first human in history to complete a spaceflight on April 12, 1961, aboard the Vostok 1 spacecraft. He spent 108 minutes in space before returning to Earth, landing in Kazakhstan. Gagarin's spaceflight was a triumph for the Soviet space program, and he became a national hero, famous worldwide. Newspapers around the globe published his biography and details of the spaceflight. Russians are very proud of the Soviet Union's success in space exploration. Every small city has its own space museum, and many streets are named to honor Yuri Gagarin. To this day, Russia remains one of the leading countries in the field of aerospace. The International Space Station has two official languages, English and Russian. Number 10. The world's busiest metro system. On average, there are up to 9 million people using the subway to commute every day, more than the total number of users in London and New York combined. Moscow's metro system also has the highest ridership compared to all other subway systems in the world, with 3.2 billion people traveling annually on 12 lines, connecting 172 stations. Beyond its transportation significance, the Moscow Metro is one of Russia's most magnificent architectural feats. The country's finest architects and talented artists participated in designing and decorating the grandiose Moscow Metro stations underground. Do you find the images of the Moscow subway beautiful? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Number 9. Russia has a large gender imbalance. The gender imbalance in favor of females in Russia will persist for decades and shows little improvement. The gender imbalance in Russia is evident in the number of women outnumbering men by about 11 million. Specifically, in 2019, for every 1,000 Russian men, there were up to 1,154 women. It is predicted to increase significantly in the coming years. Additionally, Russia recorded a gender ratio in 2020, one of 121 women over 18 years old for every 100 men of the same age. According to demographic experts, the gender imbalance in Russia is due to the high mortality rate among the male population. With around 10% of the workforce leaving Russia in 2022, many of whom were young men, the gender imbalance is considered even more severe. Notably, by the age of 60, for every Russian man, there are up to 2 women. The average life expectancy for men in Russia is 63 years, which is lower than men in North Korea or Iraq. Meanwhile, the average life expectancy for Russian women is up to 75 years. Number 8. The coldest inhabited place in the world. Oymyakon, a village in eastern Siberia, is known as the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Its name means unfrozen water due to the nearby hot spring. The city was originally a destination for reindeer herders who would bring their herds to the spring to drink water. On February 6, 1933, the weather station here recorded a temperature drop to minus 67.7 degrees Celsius. The record for the coldest temperature was recorded in 1938 at minus 77.8 degrees Celsius. The average temperature in December and January is minus 50 degrees Celsius. In winter, there are only about 3 hours of daylight, with thick snow covering the surroundings. However, activities still continue normally in this harsh environment. The population in this village is not large, about 500 people. Many legends warn that just standing in Oymyakon for 5 minutes can cause your eyelashes to freeze. Despite such cold weather, the people living in this village are considered to be among the longest living. The first reason is that they enjoy clean air and extremely pure water. The second reason is their extremely healthy diet. Number 7. Setting a world record in childbirth. Do you believe that any woman gave birth to 67 children? Try commenting your opinion because this is true. In the 18th century, a Russian mother named Valentina Vasilieva gave birth to a total of 67 children, 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets, all in 40 years with the same man. Valentina was a peasant in the Shuya province, and her husband was Fyodor Vasiliev. Surprisingly, after Valentina, her husband had another 18 children with his second wife. In total, he produced 87 offspring, of which 82 survived and were healthy. The couple lived in the Russian Empire during a period when society still had a feudal system, and Valentina became a peasant during this time. The lives of peasants in Russia were extremely harsh, which is why peasant families wanted to have as many children as possible, believing that the more children they had, the more labor they would have. Number 6. Russians rent ambulances to get around quickly. There's a fact that Russians are extremely quirky, as they do things that will make you gasp in surprise. For example, in 1908, the Russian Royal Olympic team arrived late in London by 12 days and missed the Olympic Games. The reason given was that Russia hadn't bothered to switch to using the Western calendar, so they defaulted to the old calendar when scheduling the event. Surprisingly, to this day, about 1/3 of Russians still believe that the sun revolves around the Earth. On the other hand, many wealthy Russians with eccentric tastes rent fake ambulances to get around quickly, avoiding waiting at red lights. These ambulances are said to have luxurious interiors, use sirens to gain priority on the road, and help the renters, mostly wealthy businessmen, travel through congested areas more easily than regular cars. Number 5. National Conception Day. This is a holiday in Russia, also known as Conception Day or Birth Rate Day. It takes place on September 12th every year and is popular in the Ulyanovsk region, the homeland of leader Lenin. This day is for Russian workers to take time off to conceive children, and has been effective because in June every year, the birth rate in Russia is higher than in other months. This is a unique initiative by Sergei Morozov, the governor of Ulyanovsk Oblast, the homeland of Vladimir Putin. Morozov introduced this day in hopes of improving the significantly declining population in the region. Accordingly, if after about 9 months any resident of Ulyanovsk gives birth on Russia's National Day, they will be rewarded with cars, refrigerators, cash, and many other prizes. Number 4. Hanging carpets on walls. Russians often hang carpets on walls. This habit dates back to when Russian walls were made very thin, and sounds from neighboring houses could be easily heard. Therefore, Russians tend to hang carpets on walls to absorb sound and avoid disturbing neighbors. Additionally, this habit is influenced by the culture of the Caucasus, Uzbekistan, and still exists today. Number 3. Russian is not the only spoken language. Russia is so vast that it has 35 official languages in various local regions. Along with Russian, many Russians are also surprised by this fact. Of course, Russian is the most common. However, according to the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, Russians speak at least 270 languages. Whether that number is accurate or not, there are certainly many languages used in Russia. They include major foreign languages such as German and English, and languages originating from Russia such as Tatar, Chuvash, Koryak, and Chechen. There are also some endangered languages such as Vepsian and Koryak. The least common language in the world in Russia is Tersami, which is currently spoken by only 2 people on the Kola Peninsula. Number 2, Russia has many green spaces and clean water. Did you know that 1/5 of the world's trees are in Russia? That's 643 billion trees, the largest amount of greenery any country could dream of having. About 45% of the country's land area is covered by vegetation, most of which is in the northern forests or taiga of Russia. These dense forests were once completely covered by ice sheets and are now home to countless brave species, including Siberian tigers, wild boar, eagles, and owls. Unfortunately, these forests face threats from deforestation and wildfires, so organizations are working to protect them. Additionally, Russia has plenty of fresh water. In Siberia, you'll find Lake Baikal. Not only is this the deepest lake in the world, but it also contains about 20% of the world's fresh water. Located in this frigid region of Russia, the lake regularly freezes over in winter, meaning you can even drive across its surface. Number 1. Matryoshka dolls originated from Japan. Do you know about this famous Russian doll? Feel free to comment if you like them or not. It is thought that the Matryoshka doll is a symbol of Russia and originated from the country, but it has a story behind it. The famous Russian wooden doll, Matryoshka, actually has a connection to Japan. The story goes that Russian artist Sergei Malyutin, who was designing a wooden doll, was given a Daruma doll from Japan, inside of which were hidden smaller dolls. This inspired Malyutin, and the first Matryoshka doll, consisting of 8 dolls of different sizes, was made in the 1890s by master wood doll maker Vasily Zvezdochkin, who used Malyutin's drawings. So, we have explored the 25 weirdest things about Russia. What do you think about the facts I shared above, or have you visited Russia yet? Remember to comment and share your thoughts. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to stay updated on our latest videos. See you in the next video.